Hi, today we're going to talk about CMS marketing or content management system marketing. And in other words, that is choosing a content management system that you can use to establish a website that is good from a digital marketing point of view. So it's not from a technical point of view, it's mainly from a digital marketing point of view. Let's get started. Now, first things first, what is a content management system? It's a software application that allows you to build and manage a website without having to code it. Now, for you to understand the power of a CMS, you need to know how websites that are built from scratch without a CMS, what that process would look like. Now, first you would have to use HTML code to add text, images, and maybe navigation bars. Then you would have to use CSS code to style those sections or to add that visual aspect of your website. Then you would most probably need to code using JavaScript to add more functionalities like calls to action or things of that sort. Then you would need to create a file for all this code and upload it to the server. And every time you would have to make a change, even if it's just a small change like adding text or maybe just updating content, you would have to download that file from the server, make changes to it, and then re-upload it again. Now, the job of the CMS is to remove all that and give you a user-friendly interface that you can update content from, you can add imagery, change the design and styling, add functionality. It is so much easier to use when this coding part is not visible to you as a user who cannot code, because if you're not a developer, that will be challenging, and make it a lot more easier to manage your website on the back end of your website. Now, there are many different options out there when it comes to content management systems, and usually when a company is building a new website, the people involved or the stakeholders involved are not tech specialists. So it becomes puzzling to choose which content management system would be ideal for that business. So right now we're going to talk about what do you need from a content management system so that you can evaluate whether or not the chosen one is giving that to you, and that's how you can make an informed choice. Now, what do you need from a CMS from a marketing point of view? And the first thing would be the flexibility and the ability to drag and drop sections and make changes to content or the page structure easily. Now, I know that because I've been responsible for adding content on several websites, and I don't know how to code. I'm not a developer. So this is truly one of the most important things that you need to check when you're choosing your content management system. If those who will be in charge of updating your website and looking after your website are not developers, then you must make their jobs easier. So they need to know how to create, edit, and post any type of content, including text, images, videos, and even audio. What usually happens is if the process to make changes to any page on the website is complicated, people will do it less and less often. So the website would be outdated or ignored for a long time, and that gives a really bad impression from a marketing point of view. You always want to make sure that your website is fresh and the content is updated and inviting and engaging to the visitors. And you cannot do that if it's so hard to change or fix the text or update the pages. That is the number one thing you need to check for. The second thing you need to look for in a CMS is responsiveness to different devices and browsers. Now, we all know that we live in a mobile first world, and nearly most of internet users access the internet through a mobile phone. So you want your website to be compatible with mobile devices, different mobile devices, whether it is iOS or Android. You want it also to work for desktops, you want it to work for different browsers. So there are so many different devices and browsers out there that you need to cater for as a marketer, and you want to create your website once and have the CMS automate that presentation to suit every device. You don't want to be wasting your time building a design for every every browser or device. On the contrary, you want to do it once and for all, and the CMS should take care of the presentation of your design to the users. The third item on your checklist is personalization. And right now, almost every marketing department is obsessed with the idea of being customer-centric. And that means that you want your website to change based on who that visitor is or what their past behavior on your website looks like. So can you target relevant content to unique visitors by persona, location, or even individually based on past interaction with your brand? Is this something that your CMS can do? Now, this is a common requirement, especially for e-commerce websites where past user activity plays a big role in changing what they should see on your website. So this is one of the things that you need to check if you're building an e-commerce website. And even if you're not, you should still check if your CMS can do that. But most importantly, this would be a top priority if you're running an e-commerce website. Another important item on your checklist, especially if you're an e-commerce website, is scalability and stability of the content management system. So from a technological point of view, is this CMS reliable? Is it stable and secure against hacks or under the pressure of high traffic? Will it grow with your organization's needs in the future? This is super important, especially if you're an e-commerce business, because usually you start with a small or a limited product catalog, and then you will need to grow that catalog in the future, add more categories, add more items. So how far will this CMS support you? This is another thing that you need to ask about when you're choosing your CMS. E-commerce websites also are subjected to high traffic or higher than usual traffic during peak seasons. So if you are selling something online and you know that there's a specific season where there will be a high traffic on the website, you need to talk about that with your developer or whoever is building the website for you. You need to confirm that this CMS will not crash if there's a high pressure or a high traffic coming to the website. The fifth item on your checklist as a marketer is integration with third parties. Now, you know that your website needs to integrate with other software platforms, like maybe a CRM that you're using or that the sales or customer service team is using. You need to connect that with your website so you can connect with the customers straight away, or maybe you're requiring some sort of a plugin or a booking system that needs to be supported by your website or needs to be integrated with your website. So you need to confirm with the person who's building your website, or when you're choosing the CRM, you need to ask whether the CRM supports those kind of integrations or not, and whether an API will need to be, like, does it rely on an API to connect your website to third parties? And if yes, are these APIs available? Those are all important questions that you need to ask to make sure that those integrations are smooth and nothing is going to be a showstopper. Another important question that you should ask about your CMS is user control. Now, user control means who of your team members have access to do what on the website. So this is super important, especially if there are many team members who have access to the website, and there's a hierarchy where the management team is allowed to do some things and maybe the other writers or team members don't have access or shouldn't have access to the same things. So you should be allowed, or your CMS should allow you to control who can edit, approve, publish, or remove content from your website for security purposes, of course, and also to organize the workflow. Now, part of the user control is to be able to easily find the content after you post it. So is the interface organized enough so you can find the posts or go through whatever was published in the past? This is part of your user control, or the freedom that the CMS would allow you and your team when you're managing the website. The seventh thing you should ask about is analytics. Now, analytics are major to improve your digital presence as a marketer, and it's the only way that you will find out what is the visitor behavior is like, or maybe which pages are the ones that are driving the highest number of traffic. Those metrics are super important for a marketer, and you should be able to track those analytics. So the CMS you choose should be able to provide you with those insights, this is something that you need to check. The last item on your checklist for today is if you're serving multiple locations and every location has a specific language, or maybe you're serving a multilingual community, so you need to check if you require that feature, make sure that the CMS you choose is providing you with that option. Now, thank you very much for watching that video. And if you have any questions about choosing the right CMS for your website, don't hesitate to drop us a comment and we'll get back to you.